You are now entering the Nintendo Power Zone. Now you're podcasting with power.
Welcome to the Nintendo PowerZone. Guys, it's your boy, Nice1983, with a brand new breakdown video. So guys, today, literally within the last hour, some big news got dropped. One that I think is especially pertinent to this specific channel because this YouTube channel started as an unboxing channel. What we do here is we unbox Nintendo toys. Now, granted, we spun off into doing things like podcasting and live reactions and breakdown videos and a whole lot of other types of videos. But initially we started off as a toy unboxing YouTube channel. That's still something that we do very prominently on this channel. Every Wednesday at 3 p.m. we have a brand new unboxing video. So it's something that it's the cornerstone of this YouTube channel, to be fair. It is definitely the cornerstone of our channel. It's something that I'm always going to do because I love unboxing toys and I love collecting toys. So it's definitely one of the top priorities of this channel after the podcast, even because I believe the podcast, we get to say a lot more, but with the unboxing videos, I kind of have my own little bit of fun. But the news today was that Wicked Cool Toys has been granted the Master Toy license for the Pokemon franchise, and that's huge news. I think they are only the fourth company to be granted the toy license internationally. In Japan and all other parts of Asia, the Master Toy license is held by Takata Tomy. Of all the companies that have had the Master Toy license, I believe that Takata Tomy has made the best Pokemon toys. Then a few sub companies that have minor licenses like Van Presto, who have made the Pokken Tournament figures. They make better figures, but as far as who has the Master Toy license, that definitely goes to Takata Tomy as far as them having the leg up. Alright guys, so let's do a quick little history lesson. So, back when Pokemon was first reaching into the homes across the world, back when the phenomenon was just starting, Hasbro was granted the Master Toy license. And they got it in a very hastily done fashion, to the point where the first few years of them having that toy license, they basically just took the molds that Takata Tomy had made for their Pokemon toys and just reused them. So if you're looking at the video version right now, guys, I have a few things on the table from all the Master Toy licenses that have all the toy companies that have at one point had the Master Toy license. So I have this Ash Ketchum and this Misty figure. These two figures are from the Hasbro line, but if you pay real close attention, you look at the details on the figures, they have stamps on the bottom of their feet, and they state 1998 Tomy. These weren't released by Hasbro, but like I said, when they got the toy license, what they initially did was they got the molds and just remade the figures that Takata Tomy had already made and then released them internationally. Not a bad, definitely a cost-effective way of making toys because you really don't have to go through the effort of sculpting the toys, and that worked out for Hasbro in the end. So they were able to sell a bunch of toys that holiday season, and it just really worked out for them. If we flash forward to 2006, another company was given the Pokemon Master Toy license, and that would be Jakks Pacific. Now, this is a Jakks Pacific that is doing extraordinarily well at the time with the WWF action figure line. They were doing tremendous things. They were the first company to use like 3D scanning to make action figures. I mean, this is a practice that happens all the time, especially in your high-end collector's toys. We get a lot, especially if we're doing something like from a movie. They use these 3D scanners. They scan, the actor, and then they transpose that into the computer. From there, they take that computer imaging, and then they make action figures, that blows my mind. That process has always blown my mind. And they were applying that to wrestling action figures. So At the time, Jakks Pacific was known for high quality work. I know lately that's not something we say very often, but back then they really did make really high quality toys. Now, they got the Pokemon toy license, and I kind of think that this is the beginning of the end for their quality is concerned. So they released some Pokemon toys based on Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, and they did a fairly good job in the beginning. Like they made some great 3-inch figures, not spectacular, but pretty damn good for. The, it's hard because I have a great affinity towards the Hasbro line. So when Jakks Pacific got the Pokemon line, I think it didn't match the quality of the Hasbro line, and it definitely didn't match the quality of the Tomy line. And they released figures up until 2012 when Tomy International actually got the toy license, and that to me that was a big deal because it's like Tomy up to that point had made the best Pokemon toys, and now that they were going to be doing just the international distribution for the Pokemon toy license, that was great because all the cool stuff that got released in Japan would be released in other territories like here in America. One of the key products that they brought over that I just absolutely love is the Pokemon Z-Ring. If you're watching the video version, you see it there on the table. The Z-Ring, a little interactive wearable that connects to Pokemon Sun and Moon. That is a great concept, and I love that. Also, if you're looking at the table, you see this giant Pikachu that I have on the table. It is a great looking toy, and it's got a lot of cool functionality to it. It talks, it moves, it throws electric balls. This is a great toy. Now, I think that Takata Tomy has made some of the best Pokemon toys to date, and to see them lose the toy license, it feels pretty quickly because they got the toy license in 2012, but that doesn't mean they started releasing those figures in 2012. It's not until 2013 that we actually saw Pokemon toys hitting the shelves from Takata Tomy. It's kind of a bummer. And now, like I said, today, Wicked Cool Toys has announced that they are the master toy licensor for the Pokemon franchise. So if I go ahead and pull up Wicked Cool Toys website, they don't necessarily have a great lineup of toys within their repertoire. Now, their toy licenses, they have a few. So they currently have the license to the Cabbage Patch Kids Teddy Ruxpin, which if you're somebody who's my age, you know who Teddy Ruxpin is. So basically, it was a teddy bear that read you stories, and they're trying to rebrand Teddy Ruxpin and reinvigorate it for the newer generation. They also have a very minor stake in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles license, and what do they do with that? They basically made a easy bake oven that only makes miniature pieces. So looking at their website, what I'm seeing here is not a whole lot of awesome. Now they also have the WWE license, which is kind of funny. It's a strange connection to Jakks Pacific in a way, but to date it looks like the only thing they have made for WWE are these little plastic, like those Army Men figures, but done in the WWF style. A couple of rings, so the wrestlers can fight, and a bunch of large-scale figures, 31-inch figures. So they've made John Cena, The Rock, and Daniel Bryan, and these don't look so good. They're just okay looking. I mean, what's cool about them is their overall size. They're 31 inches. They're tall. They're huge. I mean, that's over 2.5 feet tall. But when you look at the quality of these figures, there's not a whole lot here. So hearing that Wicked Cool Toys has been granted the Master Toy license, that's disheartening, especially when I currently think Takata Tomy is doing a great job at releasing Pokemon toys. Now, I will say this, I have been surprised by the lack of Pokemon Sun and Moon toys released by Tomy, internationally at least. It's really sparse. The only toys I've seen are the Z-Ring, the Z-Crystals, and the the basic starters with the Pokeballs. That is scary. With a new Pokemon game and with the year that Pokemon had last year, you'd think Tomy would have completely capitalized on the craze of Pokemon and released a lot of toys. But it makes sense now if you think about it. They were winding the line down, knowing that their toy license was pretty much coming to its end, and they might have not had a good feeling about a renewal. It makes complete and utter sense that they haven't pushed Pokemon Sun and Moon better than they have. It's disheartening. You kind of don't want to make a judgment on something we haven't even seen. We haven't seen any prototype Pokemon toys. We haven't seen anything. What we're literally getting right now is just a basic announcement. But it is something that I'm a little disheartened by, because I'm just looking at what this company is producing right now. I'm not impressed by any of the toys. Now, granted, I'm a 33-year-old adult. I probably shouldn't be collecting toys anymore, but I do. So, the Pokemon toy license is probably most definitely geared towards, younger children. But, I mean, we live in a very new world now where kind of nerds run the world, and it's okay to do things like read comic books and collect toys, and it's not as big of a deal as it was for previous generations. So I think when I buy toys still, I expect a certain level of quality. Even as a child, I wanted my toys to look great. And I'm very hesitant to think what our Wicked Cool toys can do, because right now, just looking at what I'm seeing, I'm not impressed by what they've made. And like I said, that's just disheartening. There have been so many great Pokemon toys over the years, and some really bad ones too. Let's not get it twisted. There have been some bad toys made by every company that's had the Master Toy license. But I think a lot of those companies that had the toy license, they were proven commodities. Hasbro is the second largest toy manufacturer in the world after Mattel. Tomy has always been big in Asia. Jakks Pacific made some really high quality toys. They revolutionized toy making in the late 90s, early 2000s. They were the people that innovated toys during that era. Now they've fallen from grace a lot. They're taking a lot of shortcuts, and their toy lines aren't as accessible as they used to be. Just look at the World of Nintendo line. They have made some awesome World of Nintendo figures, but they don't make nearly enough of them. And sometimes they look great, but they feel cheap. That is the truth about the World of Nintendo line. They look great, but they feel extraordinarily cheap. And that's just something I really wish they would step their game up. I wish somebody would come into Jakks Pacific, take things over, and say, let's make innovative toys again. They don't seem to have any interest in that right now, so it is what it is. Now, Wicked Cool Toys, I will say they have ambition. They do. They are trying to revitalize Cabbage Patch Kids and Teddy Ruxpin. Both of those are, very 80s toy brands. And I don't know if they're going to play into the hearts and imaginations of kids nowadays. I think had they tried this in the earlier 2000s, they had a chance, especially during that 80s boom that we had back in 2003 to 2007. We had this 80s boom, and all these companies were trying to revitalize these brands. Look at it. Transformers came back. Ninja Turtles came back. He-Man came back. Thundercats came back. All these amazing toy lines from the 80s all came back. Even G.I. Joe came back for a little while. But, we're here in 2017, about a decade later. I don't know if rebuilding some of these old toy brands is something that you can do nowadays, especially in this era of, smartphones, tablets, and these handheld consoles that turn into regular consoles. We're in a different world now, so it's going to be something else. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and hope that they can do something amazing with the Pokemon license. But as it stands right now, I'm very hesitant. because I just think they're an unproven commodity right now. I don't think they have proven themselves in the realm of toy manufacturing just yet. It remains to be seen. We'll see if Cabbage Patch Kids and the Teddy Ruxpin can take off this holiday season. But I'm willing to bet that these brands don't really translate into the minds of 2017's youth. That being said, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get out of your hair. As always, you can hit me up on Twitter at Nice1983 or at PowerZone. You can also catch me on Facebook, facebook.com/Nintendo PowerZone. If you're a fan of the Nintendo PowerZone podcast, you can always download new episodes on iTunes, Google Play Music, and Stitcher Radio. But if you want to watch the show live, you can catch us right here on YouTube, youtube.com/user/thearticle, THAARTICLE. And guys, don't forget, every Wednesday at 3 p.m., brand new unboxing video, just for you. Thank you so much for watching. Stay fresh.